This site,
Texas Consumer Resource for Education and Workforce Statistics. Texas Cruise lets students and parents compare employment outcomes among schools and programs to help you make informed decisions about college and get the best return on your educational investments.
Don't be surprised if you don't know about this site, because this is brand new. It is not out there. It is still in testing, and it should be coming soon, but I can't give you an exact date. But this is a brand new site. This is a collaboration between the coordinating board and TWC, the Texas Workforce Commission. And this is the place where we actually show data for fields over time. So it is not overtime, we kept talking about that, but overtime, across time.
years.
These are not overtime wages. This is data across years. And it is interesting to look at this data. In fact, we're also going to have a brand new page in our almanac, the new almanac that's coming out in April, that shows workforce data and shows for some cohorts income over time and some larger groups. So that should be perfect, Ginger. We've got about 15 minutes. So this is also data that Gabriella worked with, and she worked very closely with the Workforce Commission. So I don't want to pretend to be an expert on this. So I'm just going to show you the basics and suggest that you go online, take a look at it. When it is out there, we will send the link to everyone here. We'll get a mailing list going, and when it's ready to go, we will provide it to you. There are some videos in here. It's a little higher tech than some of the things that we do. So, and Ginger, I might even jump to you for. Okay. So I'm gonna get started. Okay, and we have majors, occupational areas, and they use the term tier for what we often call level, which is whether it's a 2-year or 4-year institution, or if you're looking for the state level information. So I think probably the best thing to do is we'll dive in and we'll look at a couple of occupational areas and we'll see what we can see. Don't want to open architecture. I want to open something else. We looked at that yesterday. That was maybe not too exciting. Why don't we go to something in maybe computer and mathematical occupations? Ginger, can you go ahead and I'll see if it'll go for me.
There you go.
Okay, and then we can select. We're not going to have institutional research in higher ed, probably. Okay, computer network architects. How does that sound? Let's see what comes up there. Oh, and then we're continuing to drill down, and let's do. So the major would be. Let's take computer engineering. Okay. So what we're seeing here is comparing earnings with other majors. So what we have is the first year's wages and the last year's wages, and this tracks for 1, 3, 5, 8, and 10 years out. So obviously, when we're tracking for 10 years, we're looking at earlier cohorts. When we have 1-year earnings data, we can show data from a few years ago and what happened 1 year out of college. When you're tracking for 10 years, people have to graduate from college, and then you have to track them after that to see what happens to their wages. So just something to keep in mind. Longitudinal data is great. It's not going to be as up to the minute. Now I will mention that when we were looking at the college measures data, it's first year earnings, but it's an average of 5 years, and that's how we were able to bring in enough information. If you look at 5 years worth of grads, you just get more robust numbers. But this looks at a cohort, I believe, and tracks it over time. And so you're actually able to go in, and there's wonderful charts and graphs that it creates, but it also has information about, here we go, the wages. And what this has that I think is really exciting is it has information about average loan debt. And this is, I believe, for students with loan debt. Usually when we do loan debt, we do it for people who have loan debt, so you're not having a situation where if only 2 people out of 20 with a degree have it, it spreads it out. And we also have a loan to first year wage ratio. And it's kind of hard to read here, but 0.97 to 1, so it'll talk about what someone's loan is to what they're earning, so you can kind of look at the earnings and how that fits. So it's neat data. Again, it is new. I saw the first presentation about it a couple weeks ago. You know, I've known it's been going on, but haven't been directly involved.